So cheers.
Hello and cheers.
Boop. I'm Lorrie.
I'm Mel, and welcome to 30s Dirty and Thoughtin'.
Speaking
welcome
of 30s and dirt, and I don't dirty, and my wrist hurts for some reason. That makes me feel old. I don't know what I did. It just kind of hurts.
I feel like I'm always suffering from wrist pain or hand pain or something, and I just think it's arthritis. I just think it's early onset arthritis, and I've had it for.
I wouldn't be surprised to have arthritis because I used to do like a lot of art stuff with like a drawing tablet and other stuff that probably wasn't good for like my wrists and whatnot.
Yeah. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome here.
Oh shit! Where's my time? Before I just go. We're already going, and I don't know where my.
Oh god. Already no timer.
Okay, I have it. It's going. She's going. She going.
All right.
Just a little just
on the
topic
I recently took up knitting, and it's been painful, both emotionally, mentally, and physically.
I feel like knitting and crocheting over time for your hands isn't going to be great.
No, because I think so. There's like there's a whole bunch of like ergonomic like tools that you can use to lessen the pain in your hands, but I don't think that
at the end of the day you're like doing this,
and the pain is more evident when I'm knitting than when I'm crocheting. Crocheting is just like, I don't think my hands hurt that much when I'm crocheting, but when I'm knitting, I feel like, because like you do it with both hands, and so I'm just kind of like, after I'm done for a little while, because like you're there for hours, you're there for hours and you've barely done anything. That's my experience.
This is why these kinds of hobbies might not be for me. But then again, I go with the hobbies I do have, I go overboard and extra. But it's because I have the opportunity to be extra, because the actual thing doesn't take as much time.
Exactly. You know what? I like throwing myself into my hobbies. I like getting everything that I need for my hobbies. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm an adult. Because it's my money and I could do whatever I want with my money as long as it's for good and for my entertainment and it's positive. And it's mildly healthy.
I think that kind of goes into our subject a little bit. See where it is? It goes into part of it, so we'll start at part of it that I didn't really have them in, like, I have little sections, but they didn't have to be in order. But basically, our topic is nostalgia hits different when you're tired.
And we're tired.
We're tired. We're millennials. We're tired. We're in our 30s. We're tired. And it's not even like necessarily a physical tiredness. Maybe we are, but honestly, I think it's like a mental everything.
Oh, yeah.
Of stuff and things, and the year with the leadership going on obviously also puts you in a different way of thinking. So it's like, yeah.
Everything is, we've gone through way too much as a generation, and I think people have to put respect on it because we've been through it. We've been through a lot.
Look, at this point, I'm as annoying and tired as I am. Other generations making fun of us all the time, and I don't know why. Like, we're just tired. I'm in my 30s. I'm just like trying to live my life, and I know I can't afford a home at any point in my life anymore, and I'm just trying to survive and live. So like, and going off of your point of doing the knitting, and because you're like, I'm gonna buy things, it's my money. I mean, same with me. I'll go do things. It's my money. Who the fuck cares? This is one of the sessions is childhood joys we're finally indulging in. And maybe some of them are ones that we aren't allowed to do as kids, or we just weren't able to do it because of either money or resources or whatever it is. And it could be little things that just brings us joy, like knitting or crocheting, roller skating, me, and like, well, I have like all the wheeled things because apparently I hate walking, but I walk everywhere though. But I do have like, I ride bikes, I have roller skates, I got skateboards and longboards.
I like the way that you spend your money because it not only makes your home like a nice cozy place for you to live in, but it's also it's very intentional. Like I love all the art you get for your place. I love like where you hang it, like where you store your place. Like you have a 3D printer. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I haven't even put it together yet, but it's just sitting there. But I've been busy with the photos and stuff. But I'm trying to get it running like this weekend, hopefully.
Okay.
But like, it's because I want to do little things around my house because there's so many little things. And it's like, I just want an organizer for this specific thing. I just print it. And there's so many free things online. I don't have to really design stuff. Mm-hmm. But I can't 3D model if I wanted to, just very specific things. But I'm just like, I could just get a free one or a cheap model and edit it myself. And it's really just for my home.
Yeah. It's just, you're doing it because you can and because it's important to you. And no matter how, like, you know, it might be super focused on like the creative side, but you're doing it because it matters to you, you know? And I think that maybe we missed out on that when we were younger because maybe we like the things that were very important to us and the things that we really cared about, maybe like creatively or whatever it was. Maybe our parents weren't like, well, maybe they couldn't because of money, of course. But I think maybe they probably didn't deem it important enough like we did, you know? And we missed out on it. And now we get to just like throw ourselves into it. And I mean, not to mention there's this like really like big maybe overconsumption issue that we have going on now because you know we can have everything like at the drop of a dime. But not to just throw that in there, I think it's important for us to really nurture our inner child and give ourselves we never had to have.
We've talked about this before of like people who say like things are childish to other people, like I don't know, you watch cartoons or something, but I'm like, not everything. It's also the assumption of what is childish and all this other stuff. But I also like, you just seem like you've never been happy. So if I want to watch this thing because it's interesting, why not? It's like, I mean, I'm like, there's so many, and I talk about how animated things always like never get enough credit for like being really cool. Like Arcane or something has been really big because the new season came out after 3 years. But you know, there's some people out there who's like, it's a cartoon trying to be serious, and it's like, what are you talking about? It's a well-written story, and like it's cool, and there's so much detail because there's also, I always say this too, not that I don't like a lot of fantasy shows, like I like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, and Lord of the Rings, I'm a huge nerd, but there's sometimes I feel like when you read like fantasy books that some of them just don't seem like they would be very good like a live action, because I feel like there's just so much you can do with animation, especially with realistic animation or a certain style. Like, I know there's a lot of like young adult books that are really popular, and I feel like some of them would, if they ever made any of them, would be better as like an animation. You know? Yeah, sure. Because you can do more, I guess, you know. But yeah, it's just like people like, because you indulge in stuff that like me and Charlie didn't start cosplaying until we're adults. Cosplaying is expensive. So, like, How do you think I was gonna do that as a child? I mean, yeah, I could. I was pretty creative, and I probably could have made a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I mean, you have to fix the thing. You got to get material.
My take on that is that honestly, cosplaying and conventions, they're for adults. They're for adults. Like I can't like hear people say that anything that has to do with this is for children. It's not. Tickets are expensive to go to these conventions. The materials that you need for these cosplays are extremely expensive. You're not going to see a 6-year-old go hard unless you're fucking the fashion designer protege or something. But you're not going to see a 6-year-old get all these materials like color.
You're right, because you can bring your kids to share your interest in it, and that's awesome. Yeah. But it's not like kids to just get up and go to a Comic-Con that's $175 a day, like just to even be there. And that's not even to buy anything.
Like this is all of this stuff is for adults. Like, and then not to mention there's so many animated movies. I think we spoke about this, but I think there's so many animated movies out there that were marketed to children, but they're really for the adults that bring the children in, because there's so many subtle jokes and stuff that these children are not going to get in these animated movies or TV shows.
Like the jokes. I think there's like really deep meanings too that adults will understand a little bit more, and maybe the kids don't fully understand. They will eventually, because I know there's people out there like, these shows are written by like perverts because they have all these whatever jokes, and I'm like, it goes over kids' heads. Get over yourself. Also, not everything's a sexual joke. Other jokes can just be funny jokes that only adults understand because they've been through it. Like, kids don't work. They don't know what those work time jokes are about. You know, like.
But yeah, these kids, they don't really know the adult life. They're gonna see a little character and they're gonna be like, "Hey, I like that character because they're pink." And
yeah, or they're badass. Well, they wouldn't say badass, but they're cool. But you know what we recently watched, because we wanted to watch in theaters but never got a chance to, but now it's streaming. Wild Robot.
Oh my god, movie. You saw it.
Bro, why were me and Charlie fucking bawling over a robot?
You know, because I want to watch it because I know I'm gonna have a good cry. I know I'm gonna have a good cry. I really want to watch that movie. So it was really good, huh?
Yeah, it was good. We were literally sitting here bawling like, ah. Oh. I was like, what the fuck? I knew some of it would be like kind of sad, but like I like. Oh shit! Yeah, it's so cute. We also watched that new movie Flow with the little cat. It has no dialogue in it. It's all about animals. Basically, like this biblical kind of flood happens, and it's this little ragtag team of animals that get together to survive. And there's no dialogue, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Is it going to be interesting with no dialogue?" It's very interesting, and the animation style isn't like realistic, but they put so much detail into the animals' like faces, because the cat's super expressive. You can see when she gets pissed when like a dog gets in her way or something. Like you're like, oh, she's pissed. It's very cute. I also thought we would have cried at that one, but unfortunately I streamed it on Max and I don't have premium, so commercials came on right at the points. There was 3 commercials and it came on right at the points where I feel like it would have really hit us. So like the commercial like kind of took us out of it, but I feel like it would have hit us more if we watched it straight through. Okay. I mean, I think it's like $6 to rent if you want to not have commercials, because the commercials kind of took us out of it. I won't lie. But it was very cute. That was a very cute movie.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this these ads for the movie, and it looked interesting. I didn't know there was no dialogue in it.
Boba, our cat Boba, at first was uninterested, and then he was staring at the screen, and then he likes to lay right under the TV right there, but he would go up there and stare at the TV. I was like, why do you have to watch it so close to the TV? Damn. And we don't like him tapping on the screen, but he kept tapping at where the cat was, and I was like, one, don't do that. Adorable, but stop.
Oh, Boba. He was like, friends?
To care less, he fell asleep in the beginning.
Sounds like
so.
Sounds like something T would do.
Yeah, we had to keep Bobo away from the TV because he kept getting so close. I was like, Buzz, come on, just walk the fuck away. But every time the cat did something, he'd get up and run over to the TV again.
Such a cutie. Oh my gosh. On that note, so I wanted to like move into like our other section.
Oh yeah. I don't know, you can start
it. So we recently found out that Michelle Trachtenberg has passed. And that is a hit. I feel like I knew her because of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I never saw Harriet the Spy, which I feel like a lot of people know her from.
She was also in The Adventures of Pete and Pete, but I was so young when I watched that show, I don't really remember her in it. Okay. I remember the main guys because they were just these redheaded boys, so it was like easy to remember. I remember her from Ice Princess because I watched that movie so many.
Okay, I actually remember her.
She was also Inspector Gadget when she was really young. The one with what's his name? And I had watched that movie a bunch of times too.
Okay, I think I remember that too, Inspector Gadget. But I really remember her from Buffy, and because I've binged Buffy a couple times. And it's one of my favorite shows.
I didn't watch Buffy until I was an adult when me and Kayla decided to watch it during COVID and stuff. It's not that I never wanted to watch Buffy. I just never got around to watching it. And so I finally watched it. So I was like, oh, this is Dawn. Okay, yeah. Well, I actually didn't know that she was in the show until Dawn comes in. And I was like, oh, is that Michelle Trachtenberg? She has this face that was just a character, like an actress that I would see. And I'm like, I know exactly who she is.
Right.
I had no business watching Euro Trip, whatever age that I watched it at. I had to be a teenager. Because it's not necessarily appropriate for me, but I thought that she was just she was funny in the movie. The movie's really funny. And and she was the hot girl in it. So it was also just she was super funny in it though. I had no business watching it, for sure.
Watch that over because wow, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I haven't watched Ice Princess in a long time, but I know for a fact that I watched that a bunch of times when I was younger. Whenever it was basically on Disney Channel, I would watch it. I liked that one and the other ice skating movie, which I think actually came out the same year, which was
which one?
Go figure. Oh, the one where she has to play on a hockey team because her new school didn't have an ice skating program.
I definitely watch Go Figure often.
I enjoy ice skating.
I like figure skating. I like watching it. I think it's so impressive.
Also, when I was younger, I had Chrissy Yamaguchi and other people. And I think that's why I got really into ice skate, at least watching it.
It will never not impress me. I feel like it is so insane. I think they're defying gravity every single time.
Michelle Kwan was the other one too.
Michelle Kwan.
Prominent Asian American ice skaters, which I've mentioned in a different podcast. My old boss was Chrissy Yamaguchi's sister, and I love that it took me so long to realize because I didn't want to be racist.
Shout out to you.
I was just like, Yamaguchi, Chrissy Yamaguchi, cool. Lo and behold, it's actually cool.
I love that.
I will never forget. Love you, Brett. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm always sad when a prominent celebrity dies because it's just sad. I mean, it's more of a lot of people are always confused, why do people care when celebrities die and all this other stuff? And it's more of just it kind of just brings this whole mortality thing because they're celebrity and a lot of people know who they are. It's hard to digest it because it just kind of puts mortality in perspective. We all know we all die at some point, but when someone who's well known dies, it's just like,
variety. It's like,
because also when you grow up with an actress like Michelle Trachtenberg's like what, like 6 years older than us or some shit. We kind of like grew up with her a bit. You know, she wasn't too much older than us, so I watched a lot of things. Or she would be like a guest star in a bunch of shit, I swear, when we were younger.
So many things.
She's a millennial icon.
Yeah.
Like
she was always in something.
She was always in something. I swear she was, because I was like, I swear.
Did you see Gossip?
Oh yeah, she's Georgina. Yeah. I guess she came back for the new one at some point. She like guest starred on the new one.
Is she?
Yeah, as Georgina.
That's wild. Yeah, she was in so many things, really randomly. Like,
yeah, she would guest star a lot. She was just very prominent. So that's why I feel like this does kind of hit me in a weird way, because I'm like, she's not much older than me. Mm-hmm. I think she passed at 39, which is very young. I think it was like albums, and it's just like, man, that's crazy to think about a little bit, you know. Oh, and you saw that a bunch of the Buffy co-stars posted, including Sarah Michelle.
I saw Sarah Michelle Gellar that she said something.
Buffy quote. Photos of them, and the last photo of like the carousel is her, Michelle, and like Shannon Doherty, who passed away last year.
Don't even. I was like broken when I heard about that, because I know that she had been battling cancer for a really long time, Shannon Doherty, and Charmed. We could get into the faves, because Charmed is literally
Charmed though, but I know she's in it.
It's my favorite show of all time, because I have to binge it at least one time, like once a year. And I just finished my binge like a couple days ago. I loved her in it. She does have like a rough history with the show. Well, she did.
I mean, there's a rough history with Buffy too, and obviously the creator of the show.
Yeah. Oh. But there's like, there was like something really bad going on with her and Alyssa Milano, and drama, people kicking her out the show. Like, it was just like bad. Like, and they killed her off, you know. I'm sorry, you didn't see it.
It's okay. I should watch it. Maybe that's something I should put on my list to like watch, because I actually wanted. The thing is, Charlie, I started watching Vampire Diaries because Charlie wanted me to watch it, and she said after we finished that we would watch Buffy, and now I feel weird about watching Buffy. Might make me sad.
Why?
She's never seen Buffy. I don't understand.
You know. Oh, I know.
I mean, she doesn't come until the 5th season now. So.
Yeah, you know what you guys should do? You should watch Buffy and Angel at the same time.
I never watched Angel though after I watched Buffy. To be real with you, I was not interested in watching it.
Let me tell you. I understand.
I like Cordelia, and I kind of wanted to watch it because I know she's in it, but
she saves the whole
nothing
thing.
Against David Boreanaz, by the way. Nothing against him. I love
I don't even watch it for him. I watch it for Cordelia. Only for Cordelia. And like, she's the star of the show. I feel like when you look up the show, she's the first one that comes up, because she steals it. It should be called Cordelia. And Cordelia
here.
Yeah, honestly, like, she is such a star in it. Oh my God. And I just feel like watching it with Buffy makes the experience better.
I mean, a lot of those shows, like, my thing going into it, it's like how we rewatch like childhood favorites and like things like that. It kind of goes into one of my other questions, I guess, like a deep dive question of like, why do millennials lean so hard into nostalgia? Are we actually reclaiming joy, or are we just avoiding the reality of adulthood? And at this point, that question, I don't think it's us avoiding anything. I kind of think maybe it's a coping mechanism with the state of the world, but I also just feel like we are fully adults. Like, we're millennials. We are in our 30s at this point. I think the youngest millennial might be like late 20s, like what, like 28, 29, so 20. We're all fully adults now. So like, we're well into adulthood, and it's not like we've avoided anything. And I feel like we're that generation. Why we lean into nostalgia so hard? For one, I want to put Gen X in here too. The generation people seem to skip a lot, but like I think we all kind of dive into nostalgia because I feel like maybe we're the last two generations that like I don't know, kind of said fuck it to a lot of things and had a lot of like fun content in like the 90s and the 80s as well. Of just like media and video games, but we were still outside doing stuff. And like even though we had the internet and had some technological stuff like our video games and computers and stuff, it was still like we weren't glued to screens all the time. I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I didn't live in the 80s. Obviously, my sister is 10 years older than me. She's technically an elder millennial, and she grew up in the 80s. I guess my sister before her would be a Gen X. Is my brother Gen X? 1965 to 1980. So both my oldest siblings, my brother and my sister, are Gen X, and my other sister is elder millennial.
You said 1965? My God, my mother is a boomer? That's rude.
Oh yeah, my parents are boomers. Well, we're also millennials. I feel like our parents were, I think that's the other thing about us holding on to nostalgia is because our parents are boomers. And everybody know about that generation, It's kind of like they were the ones who sold us that whole thing of like, you gotta go to school and work hard. And I feel like millennials, and it's proven statistically, like, we are a very educated generation, but are the most overworked and stressed out and just kind of generation, an underpaid generation of a lot of people. And mentally, I think it just became hard. And I don't think leaning into nostalgia has to be bad. I think there are people that maybe do lean in too much, and that's with anything, honestly. But practicing nostalgia, I think, is just finding a happy place that you personally remembered. Because sometimes it's hard to find a happy place when you haven't been there, So we dive into what we had and what was fun for us. And just kind of like, just like, again, we're the last, Gen X and us, we're the last generations to like have an impact, a meld of technology and regular being a kid.
And like,
and we were, and it wasn't, nothing was so stupidly expensive yet. You could live off of certain things as middle class families. In those times, even if it was still hard for a lot of people, it was a little more possible,
And you know what? I think that generations like, Gen Z, I don't want to shit on them, but Gen Z, I think that they're still such a fresh generation that it feels like maybe they don't want to go back, or they don't have that same nostalgia, just because I feel like culturally things shifted.
I think they were really young when we had a lot of culture, like the early 2000s. They were really young and maybe didn't really get into all the fun like 2000s music and other stuff because they were pretty young.
They call it like we do.
Yeah, and then they grew up on like iPads and other stuff that were like smartphones, and it kind of. And this isn't them because I actually feel bad because I think I've mentioned this before, because cameras and everyone's on the fucking internet all the goddamn time, is that they're all too afraid to do anything. I don't want to say that you're like boring, but a little bit, because you know how like none of these kids dance when they go out, and also I think a lot of them associate like going out has to be drinking. I have a lot of sober friends, and we had our own mental health issues, and a lot of us have to be sober, and no, we just go out and dance because we want to. Nobody dances anymore. Nobody has fun because they're afraid of being on camera, and that sucks to be like constantly afraid because people are so malicious online They could take anything and people recording people without consent. I mean, yeah, we did record stuff in the 90s and like videotape. Like there's footage of a lot of stuff. But since it's on like fucking videotape, we just kind of have that to ourselves. You have to go through a whole process to get on your computer and get it on the internet, you know? It's not as easy as just being on your phone and doing it right there. And I actually think that's, I think a lot of them are kind of boomer, like, mentality and being, like, kind of annoying. But, like, I also think a lot of them are just afraid to do stuff, and that kind of sucks, because you're at the mercy of the internet now, and that's terrible. Yeah, the internet wasn't in that space.
It's so
chat rooms and like,
you know what it is? I think the internet wasn't so curated. The internet wasn't.
And also, like, things could be kind of embarrassing, but like cringe is so different.
Oh my god!
And that's everyone's so afraid of being cringe, and it's like,
oh yes. I think I saw a video. Maybe it was a TikTok of that. I think they were talking about Gen Z. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they were just talking about people in general, that people are afraid to be cringe. And then, I don't like that word very much because of the negative connotation it has, like, towards people.
It's a different word as embarrassing, but I do agree that people use it towards so much stuff now.
Yeah. Like, so many things are just cringe now. Like, what is it? The millennial pause? Is that what they call it now?
No one believes us, but it's because like our cameras, every time you press record, there was literally a pause, and you always have to fucking get the thing cut off, and then you're like, God damn it. That was the early days of Snapchat, and I know because I worked on a Snapchat team for Glacier Report, and you always had to kind of make sure. Well, also, like, our phones, too, they would also do, like, it wouldn't immediately start recording.
And it's like,
and why is that your shit?
Even us, it was our devices, it was the apps. So get the fuck out of here.
But also, I will say, back then, and I still do now, I just edit that beginning part out. It's not that hard, guys. Just do it real quick. It's fine.
True.
It's not a person of I don't want wasted time. I cut out the fluff. I'm a video editor. I cut out the fluff, you know.
Okay. But that's just one example of people just.
Well, you know how they had like the millennial gray and apparently the millennial pink. There's a millennial green now, and I was like, "What are you talking about? It's just the Gen Z sage green."
There's a millennial green and millennial pink. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, it's just people complaining about colors.
Oh God. Whatever.
I agree with the millennial gray because it is like, I think that was our safe space because our parents were hoarders and had tchotchkes everywhere. And I think we I think we are also afraid of like not being neutral. Like basically gray and black are easy to pair with anything. Yeah. But black is like dark half the time, so people did gray a lot. And so it was just easy if you wanted to put anything in it, you would just go with gray. And I think that's what all of us did that, because all of us seemed like we had to be prepared for anything for some reason. And like gray was the neutral. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's my theory. My theory. My parents had fucking red carpet in our fucking house that I grew up in. My dad did eventually take it out and put hardwood floor, but like this is a house I grew up in. Red carpet.
My mother painted our apartment in the Heights red, like it was like a red. Like she was just like, I'm gonna paint the living room walls red, and I'm like,
so don't blame us for like being a little colorful for a while, but it's not even like that because the 90s was very colorful. I mean, all the patterns back then was very colorful. But we were pretty young during that time, so maybe like it didn't hit as much unless you're an elder millennial. But yeah, I think it was just people being afraid of not being neutral, I guess, in style. And I have tried to steer away from. I like browns and like I like color. I've always been a person who likes pops of color. I don't do unless I'm doing something very specific, and then I'll go full color. But like I have a bunch of colorful stuff. Like I have a lot of millennial pink, I guess. Sage green, olive greens, blue, navy blues, stuff like that.
I feel like I'm a very like boho chic, very like Moroccan kind of girl. Like I really lean into like mustards and blues.
Oh, I have mustard yellow everywhere too.
Yeah,
so.
I love a mustard. Like you can't get me out of a mustard, and I really like blues a lot, like blue and green and yeah, all those things. But I do.
A different subject will go a different day, and I'll just mention it, but I guess it's like, man, I think we kind of are just like we don't care, and I'll reclaim Cringe because half of the 90s and 80s styles are coming back anyway. So like, please like Cringe. You're just like your
stop. Just come back around like every like 20 years, you know? That's just a thing. Look at everyone who's on their Y2K right now. Everyone who's on their Y2K.
But let's go off subject though, since I was like nostalgia hits different. I wish I did keep some. Well, no, I don't wish I was. I don't fit any of my old clothes. Maybe I don't wish I kept any of them. I don't fit them anymore.
Yeah.
Dang, I wish I did.
I don't.
That I definitely back in style, but it's just because I had to like pare down when I moved to New York, try to get rid of hellish, because I was moving across the country, you know.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, I don't care for I feel like I was always as far as trends and fashion and stuff. I think I was always just a few years late. So
I could have sold some of my stuff. I still had them.
Yeah, so like I don't really like care for like I feel like I can't believe that I'm not a skinny jeans person anymore. One, because I just can't fit them and they're very uncomfortable, and as a millennial I just want to be comfortable all the time now.
Oh no, right? I like my skinny jeans. Mine are stretchy and I have nice legs.
Yes. I just think jeans make me really hot right now. I think as I've gotten older, I feel like I'm just a very like sweaty person. Just sweatier now these days. And I just don't need things to make me that much hotter. That much sweatier. So yes, skinny jeans I prefer to leave them where they are in my life.
You will have to pry them out of my cold dead hand, so they're not the only pants I wear, but like I don't know, I have nice legs, and why hide them? And if it's not hot enough for me to wear shorts, because I live in shorts, but if it's not hot enough, I can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, seeing clothing coming back, what does that feel like? I wonder if this is how like other generations felt when styles came back. Like, does it anger you? Is it interesting? Does it not matter?
I think it's less about seeing the clothes. I think it's more the names that people are putting on to these clothes, like, and these certain trends, and like I don't it angers me when people are kind of like, oh my gosh, like this celebrity is now like putting on like a nice like chocolate, like what are they? I think it was like Hailey Bieber or something. They did the liner. Like, even though I love it. I love that it's like back, but I don't like that it's coming back as if it was a new thing.
I think I'm just bothered by people claiming it as they just like they discovered it as if it was new.
That bothers me.
I don't care if you call it retro or vintage, even though that makes me feel old, but at least it acknowledges that you're bringing something back.
Something,
call it retro. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. I think it's that. I feel like give credit to where credit is due. You know what I mean? Like, you got it from back there. This is not new. Okay? And that's what pisses me off certain trends. And
I have a couple more questions. Things up. Is there anything as a kid that you didn't get that maybe you got in adulthood? It doesn't have to be now, but you were just like stoked to get it. like a toy even, or like I don't know, a book, because you had adult money and then you were like, I'm gonna get this for me. It makes me happy.
Well, recently I splurged on some markers and like a coloring book, and just like just shit that I feel like my mom would be like, I'm not spending $50 on markers. You have to be shitting me, and like I like that kind of shit. So I feel like I have yet to get myself a Tamagotchi, because
I was gonna ask, it's on my list right here. Polly Pockets, Tamagotchi, a Barbie Dream House. You just get Tamagotchi. Let's see if we can keep them alive.
I think, oh my god, okay. I think we should get them and then be accountable. We should check in at the podcast. I think we should check in. I think we should check in on each other every time we have an episode, just so that we can, keep.
I feel like I wonder if I can ever find it again. I had one of those Pikachu special edition like Pokemon ones that came out in like
oh,
it was Tamagotchi. Pokemon. It was Pikachu, so I had that. I had a bunch of other ones too, but
I just had one. I just had one. Well, two. One that came in like I think it was like a Happy Meals kind of thing. I think when they were doing that stuff. But my mom bought me one once, and it was a Rugrats one, and I loved it because it had Baby Reptar in it, and like all the other people from Rugrats. Oh, and that was really cool. And I think I lost it a really long time ago, obviously. But I would
that would not only bring nostalgia to millennial parents, but they could see their kids enjoy it, like good Happy Meal toys. I don't feel, how when we were younger, we had like, you could collect those Hercules plates or the cups. Yes! Like, I feel like we had such cool little things that were made for kids. Well, obviously, fast food isn't necessarily the best, but it was like a once in a while thing for a lot of people. I was very fortunate. My parents tried their best to like get everything, Yeah. But like that would be like a thing for people in their family. Like, okay, we're gonna get you the Happy Meal and see what you get, kind of thing. And we had cool toys and stuff. And I don't even know if they still do toys for Happy Meals or like kids meals of some sort. I don't know if they still have it.
I haven't heard of Happy Meal toys in a really long time, and I feel like even
if there were, they're probably really lame because we haven't heard.
Yeah,
that'd be like a fun. Like, not only does that bring a little nostalgia, but if you have kids, they like, this is what we used to like enjoy like doing as.
I mean, to venture like off of like material stuff, I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to be in dance classes, and then my mom couldn't afford them. So I grew up and I got myself some dance classes. And
I think that's all of my hobbies. I mean, the longboards, like I have a million of them now, and skateboards, I have so many. Like, there's one hanging right here. Roller skates, I brought them. I have ice skates for the winter. I have all the things. And it's not like my parents would have tried, because I was pretty fortunate to, my parents tried to like get me and my siblings what we wanted. So, I didn't need everything, so I just buy stuff. That's where my consumerism comes in. But I like to get like little special edition things as like decor and stuff like that. I think that's all my hobbies are basically what I mean, a 3D printer didn't exist when I was younger, but I'm sure if it did, it would have been something I wanted, and so.
100%, come on. Yeah, that, and I also feel like clothes too. I think maybe, I mean, my mom clothed me, obviously, but I think I look at something and I'm here like, you know what, like I want that. It's a good quality item, whereas like maybe in the past when I was younger, like my mom did what she could and like she got, maybe the knockoff Air Forces and not the actual Air Forces that I actually wanted, or you know what I mean? Like it was like in those kind of situations.
all these little things go into the topic title of like nostalgia hits different when you're tired, because like when you're tired, all these little things that we get to have because we're in the place that we are and we can get them just it brings a little flicker of joy, when things are not great.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice to be able to do that for yourself when maybe the world is not great at the moment. I feel like if we could find those little bits and pieces of joy, why not? Yeah. Do you think that millennials lean into nostalgia more than any other generation?
um, I want to, I feel like with like old people, like boomers and people older than that, um, like even I don't know what the generation before boomers were actually, but older people, and when they talk about the past, does it feel like nostalgia or like it's like one of those like back in our days, and is that nostalgia or are they just complaining?
You know, I feel like
Like, do they actually have fond memories, or are they just complaining that everything sucks now or something? As they
and
usually
yeah,
do.
and I understand what you mean, and that's why I asked the question, because I think there's a fine line between uh remembering fondly, but also um immersing yourself in the past, almost like you want to go back to it.
Let's see. Nostalgia is a feeling of longing for a time in the past, often for a happy period or place. It can be triggered by small sounds. It's nostalgia is basically associated with fond memories. So it is what we think it is. It's going back to a happy period rather than
Yeah.
just about the past. And yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do decide dive into nostalgia the most. Again, including Gen X in that. Yeah,
I
I think we
so.
do.
I think so. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we have a meld of those memories, like in the park, in the streets, like running amok outside, but also with the introduction of the internet and computers and instant messaging your friends. I think that is such an pivotal point in our society, just because I feel like the age of the internet really like came through in our generation. Like we really got to see that through.
But we also weren't so interconnected with the internet that our bosses call us at off
Yeah.
hours at any time, or like our parents didn't really know where we were unless we told them.
Yeah.
I think we're the last couple generations of like still having freedom with
Mm-hmm.
technology still
Yeah.
present. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I feel like and I don't find it bad, I
No,
think there are a lot of other people that feel like, oh, maybe like we listen to the same damn music or we watch the same shows and movies. Like I'm a binger of old TV
oh,
shows,
I am too,
movies.
but I feel like I still do a mix of a lot of things. I still watch new stuff. I still listen to
Yeah,
new stuff. But
same,
then
same.
if I like really don't feel like thinking, like I just am like, again, nostalgia hits different when you're tired. Because when I do not want to like think of what I want to do right now, I just go back to something I like, especially
You
with
throw,
music.
you throw on a classic. You throw on a classic that's a classic for you.
Classic that that one you maybe don't have to pay attention 100% to,
Yeah.
or it brings you comfort. It's that kind of thing. I mean, sometimes I just need background shows because I'm ADHD. I just need something in the background when I'm doing something, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what show I don't have to pay attention to, but I know, will be fine in the background. It's this, you know. Um,
Mhm. Mhm. I feel the same. I feel the same. I think it's either for me, it's either I find some random YouTube video, essay video, like video essay or whatever, and I'll throw it on. Or man, I will throw on Charmed. I will throw on any fucking episode of Charmed. And I know I don't really. Sometimes I'm at the point where I can recite what people are gonna say at this point.
Yeah, Mean Girls, and what was the other movie that was part of my trifecta? Oh, She's the Man. I can basically quote.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a certain kind of joy that I get when I watch something that I used to watch when I was younger. When I even smell something, like there'll be times where I'll be walking in the street or going into a building or whatever, and I will smell something, and it will literally bring me back to like second grade homeroom, and like maybe my teacher smelled like that or something. Like, it is insane. And then the feeling that I get at that moment is, oh my God, like, not even like I wish I could go back, because like, do I?
See, that's the thing. I think people mistake a lot of millennials who dive into nostalgia as people who, like, I wish I was back there. I do not wish to be a child again with no money. I don't wish to be a teenager again, because that also isn't the best time.
No.
But I had times, you know?
Yes. They were
fond memories.
Right, fond memories and like simpler times.
And this goes for anyone, but since, like we said, millennials do seem to be more nostalgic than most generations, it's very high possibility people just stay stuck in their ways. But I want to say that really older generations are the ones who get really stuck in their ways, you know, and don't. I feel like we're open to change for the most part. Maybe older generations aren't, so maybe this includes whatever generation, but like, I feel like you can tell when someone's stuck in the past and when someone's just fondly remembering the past.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you can say that about our generation because we have adapted. We have been forced to adapt so quickly to things that have been coming at us. So I think maybe that's why we're so open-minded. And maybe other things, among other things. But I feel like the difference, I think, between someone who's, fond of the past and someone who's maybe stuck there, I think it could be really apparent, like physically. Like if you see somebody that maybe has like memorabilia, like an extreme amount of memorabilia, or maybe is like dressing a certain way, even though like a lot of these like trends and like styles from back in the day are now
but also just be like best nerd and collect a bunch of shit, right?
Yeah, I think that could be a reason. Apparently, so my mom,
and how you act towards other people and other generations.
That too. It's funny. I just found out that my mom's downstairs neighbor, her landlord, my brother just told me this recently, but he was like, I went into their house once and like they really hoard. It's like two older women that live there. It's like her mom, it's a mother and a daughter. And the mom is like, pretty old, And he went in there once and apparently they have an entire room just like sort of in a tribute for Barry Manilow. Like they have like
I didn't know what you were gonna say. That's not what
I didn't know what he was gonna say either when he told me. But I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, it's like Barry Manilow memorabilia from like the ceiling to the like it's like bad, Melissa. Like they have and they hoard a lot of stuff. And hoarding is a sickness in its own way. But
I feel like older people tend to go towards hoarding a lot, I will say.
Yeah. And I think that's emotional though.
Yeah.
it. I mean, and hoarding is too. It's.
But I do think there is a lot of links to because something happened in the past, or they didn't want to let go of something in the past, and another life event happens, and it kind of causes the hoarding. So there might be a little link to like, again, being trying to stay in the past and not dealing with it. You know?
Yeah, but I think you know when someone's stuck there, and it's also a feeling when you meet them. You're just kind of like, oh, you're not really here in this time with us, with all of us. You know?
It's whenever someone says like, you know, we used to say stuff like that in the past.
Oh,
you can't say anything anymore.
Yeah, that I think. Oh, I don't like that. Like I can just feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not my type of people.
Yeah, it's a visceral feeling.
Yes, that gives cringe.
We'll have to. That's for sure. Anything else you want to add before, like, as a lasting note?
No, just indulge in the nostalgia every once in a while. In your joy, in your past joy.
People tell you otherwise, unless it's unhealthy.
Unless it's unhealthy.
That's also subjective. So, but you know, if you're just enjoying yourself, it's why the fuck not? Who cares?
You're not hurting anyone.
Who cares? A lot of people do a lot of stuff later in life. Just because shit happens, you gotta do other stuff, or maybe you just want to try something new.
There you go.
Who cares? Just do what you need to do. Yeah, that was good. I have to burp. Just saying.
What are you shy about burping on the pod?
I don't know.
Was it liquidy?
My microphone. No, it wasn't. I mean, my microphone's right here, so you can hear it clearly. It's not like I hit it.
You ever have those bursts, or it just like travels? Just like.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's weird that it travels.
Like I have felt it like coming from like here. From here. Just,
you're just like, oh god.
I feel like
we ended with burp talk. Hashtag burp talk. But thank you for joining us. We are 30s Dirty and Fountain with an ampersand, if y'all need to know, a little simple. We're on YouTube and Spotify, both video podcasts, so whichever you prefer. And we're on TikTok and Instagram at 30s Dirty Fountain. Our email is at 30dirtyfountain@gmail.com. And yeah, my cat just woke up from a nap. You look like you just woke up for sure.
Hello, man.
Let's see if I can. Don't mind. No, it's T. Can you see me?
Hi, T. Hi, sweetie.
Hello, man.
He's like bathing.
You're not even looking at the camera. Over here.
Hi, T. Hi, T.
There's no thoughts behind those eyes, actually.
Nothing.
It's okay.
Between those ears.
It's so cute. But yeah, we'll see you next time. So peace out.
Bye, guys.